That's just where we are in the Bay Area, next to Google and Facebook and every other tech company you ever want to visit or can't. We'd love to have you, but thanks. And hopefully, JACALYN, it's wonderful where you are too.
It is. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm looking out over the bay and the wetlands, and it's gorgeous. I thought of you earlier today. I had a show right before this, and I kid you not, but literally climbing up the wall was a giant million-legger bug. Very large, though, not like the small ones, and a big moth. And I thought, is AMINAH saying hello? I don't know what is going on. Why? So I just said hello to them, and I said, you guys do your thing. Just don't come over here, because if you drop on top of me, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah, exactly. Just, I'm okay. Just go left or right.
Right.
Not over my head or down my back or anything like that. If he's got dinner or lunch, whatever, then he or she is thrilled and happy. And thanks for keeping him alive, because we're really struggling with that, with the oil again, and the damage that's gone in our ocean. So those of us in the animal world are just weeping again because of humanity, and just trying to teach everybody to coexist. And in that same thing, my guest today, DOTI BOON, she comes every month, and I hope you guys are coming back more and more. She's just she's my mentor. She's my go-to when I go, what's going on, and why did this happen? Because I didn't know what I had as a child. I wasn't lucky to be embraced by all of the things that she has been, and know that her gift was special. And I talked to myself and didn't know that there were other voices supporting me and that type of stuff. But I never felt alone. I never felt lost or scared or not determined to be who I was. So I feel very lucky that when I landed back in San Jose, that the Center for Creative Living was there for me. And DOTI is the head pastor of that organization. And every first or second Tuesday, or what is this, Friday of the month, she joins us here on this live cast. So please bring your questions. We had amazing people come last time in questions, and I just really thrilled that she's here with us.
I am as well. Before we bring her out, I want to play a clip, which I think we played before, but I think because you touched on it, and then I want to have Reverend DOTI comment on it as well. It's called the Earthshot Prize, and I want to thank Ian Pelham-Turner and Helena Shard for sharing this with us from the UK. But let's take a look, and then we'll have a conversation and bring out Reverend DOTI.
Ours is a world of wonder. Every day it reminds us of its beauty. It touches us, teaches us, and astounds us. But it also warns us that what we throw away does not go away. That higher temperatures mean a lot more than longer summers. That we can no longer take life as we know it for granted. We are at a unique stage in our history. Never before have we had such an awareness of what we are doing to the planet. And never before have we had the power to do something about that.
Welcome, Reverend DOTI.
Hi there. That's a rough act to follow.
It is.
Really well done, isn't it?
It is beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. Yeah,
I think
what it reminds me of is when I was growing up, I can remember my teacher always talking about how we were a unit. We weren't just individuals. We were the first grade unit, and we needed to support each other. And I'm not getting that. And I'm not talking about teachers. I'm not getting it from anyone who's saying we are a unit. All we've been hearing for the last 25, 30 years is you are special and you're the only one. And so now when you see somebody throwing trash out, oh, I'm special, somebody else will pick it up. And that we didn't have that intention that you being special meant that you were better than anybody else. Just that you're a special you working with everyone. And somehow that got lost. And that's what my spirit guide says, is that spiritually, if you're not thinking collectively, if you're just thinking individually, you're going to be very disappointed when you leave this planet, to find out you're going to be completely engrossed with other spiritual beings. And there, when you're in spirit and you're not in body, each action you make affects the whole spiritual community. And I think that's going to be interesting. Now, my spirit guide, if I say, well, to my spirit guide, Ma, what happens if I catch COVID? And he said, it'll be your last disease. And I had to go, oh, I better be careful if I don't want to leave on the planet on that one, you know? And then he says, and I'm so excited about you joining me in spirit. It makes it kind of a double-edged whammy there, you know? Oh, I'm going to be excited about meeting Ma in person. No, I'm going to meet him in spirit, and he's going to be delighted to see me. So this whole idea that we have of Earth dying is bad, us dying is bad, sometimes it leaves room for a new beginning. Right. And that's where we have to somehow let go of the panic of, oh my God, this is awful, and start saying to everybody you meet, you know, your responsibility to the earth is to pick up trash. Your responsibility to the earth is to not use all the water you possibly can when you take a long hot shower. I mean, people don't realize they're responsible. They keep thinking somebody else will do it. And they blame other people. I hear them say, well, those people are doing it. And as my mother used to say, if somebody ate worms, would you eat it too because somebody else is doing it? Yeah. And so, spiritually, the other side is not concerned about what happens to the planet, because this is our planet when we're in earth bodies. We're the ones that should be responsible. We're the ones that should be concerned.
Exactly.
Agreed. And how many times do you hear someone say, oh, I'm just one person. I can't make any difference. It's just one of me.
Yeah. And every once in a while, I think of the Melinda family, when they used to walk across a high wire with all the family. Imagine if one of them said, I don't want to step right now. Absolutely. I'm one person. They can take care of themselves. Well, the whole pyramid would have toppled. And a couple of times it did, and 2 family members were killed. Because they were dependent on each other to be able to survive. And if we look at that we're dependent on other people to survive, but also we're there to help them survive.
Yeah.
How many people are you here to help survive? If you have children, if you have neighbors, if you have people that go to church, same church you do, if you have a school you're going to, you're there as an integral part of helping everybody there survive. So that's my take on it.
Good points. Thank you.
It's excellent, Dottie, because we need to think we instead of me.
Yeah.
And we are so caught up in, well, but it doesn't bother me. The smog doesn't bother me. The trash doesn't bother me, you know, and it's like, but it should. But it should. It's the same thing as, you know, I'm constantly teaching, you need to pick up your pet's waste. And it's like, why? It's natural. No. Are you feeding them cows or chickens or natural food? Well, no, I buy it at the store. Well, then it's crap, because literally it's crap. It's non-biodegradable. And so many people take simple, and I'm taking a really simple thing of what you said, of saying, this is simple. Pick up your pet's waste, and right. You know, don't kick your cat out and say, oh, he'll use the outdoor litter box. It's like, and who's picking that up too? Because I've seen play yards that are full of cat litter, and it's toxic to children. It is really, really dangerous when you just let your cats or dogs roam, and there's disease and fighting and all that. This is what we're seeing in humanity.
Exactly.
And really the animal kingdom does it a lot better because they understand minimalization. You see the wolf packs, you see all the herds of cattle, horses, all that. It's a community, and they work together because they survive together. So my example is, you want to know how to live, watch a wild animal. And it never takes more than it needs. And it can make friends with the strangest people and things when it needs. So that's what you're saying in my field. It's coexist because we must. And
Exactly.
everybody's me, myself, and I. And that's for you and I and so many of our colleagues. It breaks our heart because there's so much love to give. There's so much love to have. And we know that. We see that. And we'll keep spreading the word every day. And Dr. JACALYN, you're doing that in your show. I've watched many of your shows, and all of it's uplifting. All of it's wonderful, and commercials are great. You should see me dance. I love the music.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. As you know, it's an evolution, and we are coming out with our newest platform for USA Global TV, January the 10th. So very excited about that, and thanks for being a part of this journry.
Yeah, I can't believe that you have time to do this every day, all the time. I need a nap or two.
Well, I have partners, so we all have different things that we work on, and I'm the broadcaster, so that's one of my roles. So a question I have for both of you, because you just touched on it, AMINAH. I interview people, sometimes 18, 20 people a week. And many times somebody will come on and they're sharing a story, and you can tell they're still not totally comfortable with where they are in life or where they are with themselves. And what I'm wondering is, as a psychic, and even applies to pets, I mean, you see things, you know things, you're told things from your guides. And so do you share that information voluntarily if you meet someone and you sense something, you're getting a message, do you share it with them that you think maybe they're on the wrong path, or they might be in danger, or they need to get to a doctor, or whatever it is, the message you might get?
Can I take this one?
Please, Dottie.
Okay. Yeah, I was in a Safeway store, and all of a sudden I looked at this woman, and I tapped her on the shoulder, and I said, "Pardon me, but you left your iron plugged in." And she turned around and she looked at her husband and she said, "What? You told me you took care of all that." He said, "Oh, I forgot the iron." She says, "Thank you. We are on our way across country. We've got everything in our motorhome, and we won't be back for 6 months."
Wow.
And she said, "We've got to hurry home now." And the cashier wasn't too happy because she left her groceries just on the she just ran out to go unplug her phone unplug her iron. And I do that every once in a while. I'll be standing around, or somebody will come up and I'll say, "Call your brother." And they go, "Oh, okay." And they do. "Dottie, thank you so very much. They just took him into surgery," whatever. So I get messages, and I have so many times said something like that to a perfect stranger. And they very seldom say, "Oh, thank you," or "Who are you?" or "What are you talking about?" They usually they go into action to do something about it. Yeah. And I do the same thing in my car. When I see a car go through a red light, I just say, "Bless you." Corky, my partner, is really good at that, at blessing. Anytime we see a dead animal on the road, she blesses the spirit. This blessing is something that also I feel is very important, that we are cognizant of how what we say and what we do is so important to those who are on the planet and who are leaving the planet.
Absolutely. And Dottie has far more experience. She, as you can tell, the way she's describing it, she does it. She just goes up and says it. For me, I stew a few minutes because I'm still terribly new at accosting people in public, but I feel like I'm accosting them. And sometimes I'll be with somebody or my kids or something, and they'll feel, the energy change in me, and I start having this face, and they're like, what do you know? What do you see? And I was like, I'm supposed to go talk to that person, but this is really strange. And it's so powerful when it's what Dottie's talking about. The need to do it is almost like you have, here's a pedestrian way to describe it. It's like you have an itch, and if you don't start scratching it, that bug bite is just going to drive you crazy. And then of course you itch it and it gets worse. But it's, I check with my guide, I check with around, I look around, you know, because I want to respect the person and that kind of stuff. So I've gone up to people and just said, I know this sounds strange, but I was told to tell you blah, 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 blah. And just what Dottie says, they go, oh, how did you know? Why did you know? Oh, I needed to hear that. And I'm thinking, oh, yay for me. Nobody killed me. Nobody threw eggs at me. No, it is so organic that I've literally, you know, I'm sure Dottie's had this where we've had people cry from relief, from knowing, from being heard, even, you know what I mean? Heard from the heart, and heard when they didn't speak. We know that we can feel the pain go by. We can feel the questions go by. But what I think is happening, and I'd love to hear your take, Dottie, is these people are truly open and putting out the energy of, I want to know, I need to know, I'm capable of hearing you. And what I look at too is, I've had to learn over the years is I have to let go of any of it. And everybody said, how did you know? And I said, well, you need to know, I didn't know anything. This is my guide. This is the way it is. This is just a gift. I am just the mouthpiece. I don't own the information. I don't know anything more secretive about you. I don't, you know, watch you at home, you know, nothing like that, depending on the person and what they're worried about. But I also know that I am lucky enough, Dottie is lucky enough, and we have other people in our lives that have the ability to help people get through things that we don't own. It's not like we went out and said we trained like an athlete. We do have to train. Dottie has taught me a great deal about protection, which I didn't know, and really protecting myself because the information's not mine. So just so you guys know, if any of us accost you or try to help you or whatever you want to look at it, it is just because we've been asked to do so. And we hope it comes with love. And it comes with wanting you to have something better, whatever that is, ... a better relationship, a not burned down house, a, you know, safety, don't cross that street, blah, blah, blah there. It's meant with love. It's really meant with love and support. And I know Dottie absolutely comes from that way.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. But it's very difficult being in a family with somebody who has psychic abilities. My kids were always saying, oh, Mom.
Not again.
I woke up Monday morning and I went, I've had a horrible night. I couldn't sleep. I feel lousy. I ache all over. I don't know what's wrong. Oh my gosh, I don't even know if I can get out of bed. And I get a phone call and my son says, Mom, I've just been diagnosed as positive for COVID. And I went, what? And I said, you sound awful. He said, I feel awful. I've been vaccinated and I'm glad, because if I hadn't been vaccinated, I think I'd have been dead right now. So he had a bad night and I couldn't sleep. And I was there and I knew it was something he had to call and tell me. And that's the hardest thing when you have a kid that's going through problems, but you know you should wait and let them call you so you can help them handle it.
Right. Right. And I think this has come up lately for me, and I moved to talk about it. And Dottie, this is so important for our field, I think, and I'd love your input, of course, is I get asked a lot in the moment, what is this? What is this? And then some people, like family, who come back and say, well, then now this is happening and now this is happening. And I said, you have free will. You make your choice. You go left and you were recommended to go right, or you go right, but then 3 weeks later, something else happens. I said, remember, you always have free will. And every move you make is like a chess match in my description of then another move makes, and then somebody else makes a move that wasn't planned at the time. So we're not like fortune tellers that say in the next 10 years, you're going to do this, and it's all going to happen. Because you have free will, you have the right to make a new choice. We are just hoping to help you with the steps and helping you clarify that. You're like, well, why would I do that? Because I've been faced with those decisions. Why would I do that? And then you do it and go, oh, I get it. Because you see the next couple of steps and you see where it went. It might be hard. I know when I told somebody at my public job that I had just been told that I needed to go public, I was terrified. He'd tell somebody and I'd lose my job, blah, 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 blah. Best, scariest thing I ever did. Best, scariest thing, because I had help, I had support, didn't know his brother and sister were psychic. Of course, why would I know that? But I needed to move out, and what I'm encouraging everybody is move out with faith. If you go with positive, good energy and good intentions, move out with faith.
And also, if you're going to go to a psychic, I'm going to bring up a whole nother topic. I had a woman call and say, Dottie, my mother was told by a psychic that she could have my dead father talk to her, and it was only going to cost her $15,000.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And I said, what was she going to do for $15,000? And because this kind of interested me, you know, and
we're doing this wrong, Dottie, if we're not doing it.
Can I get in on this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she said, well, she was going to pray for my father's spirit. And I said, you can pray for your father's spirit. And she said, well, I don't have the power. I said, yes, you do. And I said, do you want to hear a magic word that'll give you the power? And she said, yes. What's the magic word? And I said, love.
There you go.
Pray and say, I love my father, and my father needs to talk to my mother. She feels like he abandoned her. And she said, will that work? And I said, of course it will. So yeah, I get a call back that all of a sudden her mother didn't pay the $15,000 and her mother got in contact with her husband's spirit. But please be aware that if you were going to go see a psychic, ask them up front, what is the charge? And if they say they need money to buy candles, or they need money to say prayers, or they don't. If you're a psychic, you have plenty of candles. You have plenty of little statues. You have plenty of everything you need in your life to help people. You don't need to pay an exorbitant amount. I have people that call me and say, I went to a psychic, and they say I'm cursed. And that's why things aren't working the way I want them. And somebody had put a curse on me from Venezuela. And I said, no, they didn't. And they said, how do you know? I said, because in Venezuela right now, a curse goes for about $70,000. I doubt that anybody was upset enough with you for $70,000. And they said, you're kidding. No, it changes their whole attitude. You know, and when you think about it, who dislikes me that much? I doubt anybody has anyone. If they did, they probably would have called the mob before they called a psychic, you know?
Yeah, how much is it for a hit? Come on, people are thinking, wow, you're going to call somebody to possibly kill them subtly?
And so, unfortunately, there are unscrupulous people out there that are preying on the health and the energy of people because they are saying, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, and I can do that. And if they're going to pray for you, say, oh, you can pray for yourself. They're going to light candles for you. Please, you can light your own candles. I mean, I want everybody to realize how important you are. We're all God's children. Some of us come in with a little bit of psychic energy, but that doesn't mean that we can heal the world for $5 million. You know, it's not that. It's that we're here to help you. Do psychics charge? Yes, because quite often being a psychic takes a lot of time and energy, just like any occupation. You know, I'm going to have 4 or 5 clients tomorrow, and each one of them, they know how much it's going to cost. They know that I'm going to do a reading, and then they can ask questions. I tell people what's happening. So if you're going to get a psychic reading, please look the person up on Yelp, just like any other business. Find out what other people have to say and make sure it's somebody that's referred them that is really good at a judge of character. Okay, just because somebody's following someone doesn't necessarily they're the best for you. I do a lot of talk about this because I don't like the idea that people get ripped off by psychics because it waters down my profession. it takes away from what I do to help people.
Yep.
Great points. Thank you, Reverend Dottie. I have a question for you as a follow-up of what you just shared. So in that case, the person, it sounds like they felt like someone put a curse on them. Do you believe that people can actually be cursed? In other words,
yeah. If you, one of my clients is a Santeria priest, and that means he does voodoo. And he's the one that kind of keeps me advised of how much it costs to get a good curse file against somebody. So, and he says yes, because what he does is he manipulates the person who is being cursed, in that they're right. Somebody has, when I say manipulates them, he gives them tools to use to take away that. And all a curse is bringing in negativity into your life. And somebody can curse you, but if you haven't heard about it, it didn't happen. Meaning, if they're going to put a curse on you, they're going to let you know.
Mm.
If they drop chicken feathers dipped in blood outside your front door, that's the message. You're getting cursed. Because at that point, you look at those chicken feathers and you panic and you go, oh my God, something bad is going to happen. That starts a whole other wheel of karma going, a whole other stuff. Is your belief that something bad is going to happen opens the door for something bad to happen. So are curses real? Yes. Are your ability to get rid of them real? Yes. All of that. So just look into it, because there's some things that were done in Louisiana that were amazing by the Creole and the people who followed voodoo. Amazing things. And when they talked about bringing people back from the dead, usually they weren't really dead. They had the disease that they had that was a sleeping sickness that you would just look like, and your body presented itself as not being alive anymore. And so they utilize that as part of their training of what you could do here and what you couldn't do. So all I'm saying is hold on to your belief in spirit, and know that you are stronger than any curse that could possibly come your way, and you won't have any of them.
Very interesting. So when we think about the doll, the voodoo doll, is that what it is, where you stick the pins in it? Mm-hmm. You've seen this in movies. So do you believe that this really can convey a curse to someone, or it's how the person perceives it?
Yes, because you'll say, you very seldom hear somebody not knowing that this is being done. They'll say, yeah, I heard that somebody's sticking pins in a voodoo doll in my head. That's why I have a headache. Oh, I was aware. I saw a doll and it looked like me, and there were pins stuck in the heart, and I know that's why I'm having heart palpitations. The awareness of what's happening is where the whole thing of being a curse works from.
So in other words, it's put out there, but it's how you receive the information and what you do with it.
Right. Yeah, and I had somebody give me a doll, and it had little pins that you could stick into it if you wanted to, and they said, "What do you think of that?" And I said, "Oh, how cute!" And cute little doll here, and I can use the pins to hem up my dress. I mean,
exactly.
It's like, okay. But if I buy into it, and it's just like life, if you buy into your life is miserable, your life's going to be miserable. If you buy into the fact that your life is wonderful, your life's going to be wonderful.
Perfect. Now, is there a time on this? So if a person believes their life's going to be wonderful, is there like a switch that gets flipped and it's like, okay, it's been 2 weeks. Now it's even better than you thought it could be.
It's your timing. You can say, I want something, you can test it. You can say, I would like something positive to happen today. And sure enough, you're going to get a call from your mother, and you hadn't heard from her in a year. And afterwards, you'll say, boy, nothing happened today. Look back and see what happened. You put that wheel in motion. Something good is going to happen. Maybe it did rain in San Jose. Maybe, something positive is going to happen, because every time we start that wheel moving of positivity, it picks up energy, and it makes positive things happen. But negativity seems to have a lot more power. You hear more people saying, oh, damn you, than you hear say, praise God for you. A lot more people. That's part of our vernacular. And they don't realize when they say damn you, that means you're sending out negative energy.
Yep. Yep.
So
Very
you
true.
be careful with your languaging. Be careful what you said, and realize who your audience is. How susceptible are they? I have a lot of clients that are very susceptible. So I'm not going to be planting seeds in their head of negativity. I'm going to find how to cheer them up. Okay. I have clients whose they have the family members that are in prison. I have clients who family members are dying of various diseases. I have people of all over the country because I get readings. I'm doing a big deal here of readings from New York. I don't know why, but New York has just been vibrating, and they call and they're really upset about what's going on with the COVID disease. And they want to know if it's going to hurt their family or what's going to happen. And what I say is your family needs to take care of themselves. You can't take care of them.
Right.
They need to find out, what is the thing they need to take care of themselves. And people don't realize that. Every day I have some woman call and said, oh, I want to know if my husband's cheating. And I say, I'm not going to tell you. They said, well, I need to know. No, you don't. If you're not comfortable with your relationship, that's what you need to work on. If your husband wants to call me, I'll gladly give him a reading about what he's doing. But I'm not going to tell you what somebody else is doing. That's not what I do as an ethical psychic.
Exactly.
How would you like? And then I say, how would you like if your next door neighbor found out whether your house is clean or not by going to a psychic? How would you like it if somebody found out about you through psychic ways? And they usually say, oh, I wouldn't like that. Well, neither does your husband.
Yeah. So do it on the other side. And people ask me all the time, I bet they do for you, Dottie, just what you said. They're like, well, what are they thinking? What do they want? What's going on with this teacher or this person, or am I going to get that job? And I'm like, you know what? Everybody has free will. And you need to show up with your free will and make these things happen. Do your work, do your best. And if this job is meant to be, then you will have shown up the right way. And
well, I'm usually a little bit more overt. I'm on the job and the money and that. I'm usually more overt because I'll say, I see this job and I can tell them, like I have a lot of people calling me right now. Am I going to go back to work? Is there a job for me? And Ma says, yes, you're going to start going back to work in February, and it's a different job than what you were working before. My spirit guide's really good at that, foreseeing what's happening for somebody. And we know, you've got to write out a resume. And I will say, you're looking for a job. Have you written out a resume? And they go, oh, no, am I supposed to?
And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Is
that's what you're talking about.
We have plenty of insight to encourage you. We have plenty of insight to say you're on the right path, or maybe you need to do this class, or we don't have specific classes. Looks like there's some work you could do, and then the client comes up with, oh, I was offered that internship or that class or whatever, and I was thinking that might be good on my resume. Well, then maybe that's what you need to investigate. We are here to aid you, to bring you to the place you need to be, but we're not the secret keepers, and we're not the covert detectives of your neighbors and that kind of stuff. Because again, what Dottie said is, first of all, that's not ethical. And second of all, we would never want somebody to invade our privacy. Why would we encourage others to do that? We want people to coexist, not be spies over their neighbor's fence.
And Ma is really a funny character. I had a woman say, well, I want to know if my son's smoking dope. I mean, after all, he's only 16. And Ma said, hey, you started smoking dope when you were 14.
Yeah, you will be called out on your joke. You're like, wait a minute, you can't do that, but you did.
She said, well, that's different. I was more mature at 14 than he. No. It's the same situation. You're asking me to make him wrong. No, I'm not here to make people wrong for you. I'm here to help you deal with situations.
And a lot of times I find they've already canvassed all their friends and all their nearest relatives to get that same answer. So they're stepping it up with the psychic, and then they're going to go to the psychologist and the MD and everybody else, because some people need that rightness. And I know for me, and I bet Dottie, you have the same experience, we don't always make our clients happy. Because they're like, oh, I didn't want to hear that. We only have the truth, and we don't own the truth. It's your life. We just tell you. And I said, okay, you just need to be okay with whatever the truth is. And, and they go, okay. And usually, and Dottie, I'd love to hear your input. I get those clients the longest. They stay with me the longest because we go through that trial and they find out, oh, you're right. I need to show up to my life. I need to be there. And you are here just to cheer me on, help me with the questions you've got. You've got to kind of go, maybe go a little to the left on this one, but have you thought about it? We want you to think about it. And our guides want you to think about it. We're not here to tell you what to do.
And I think what's interesting is that people who call me and say, I think I've got to get a divorce because he's, X or she's X. And I say, try couples counseling before you do anything.
Right.
And, oh, no, I don't want to go to a counselor. I said, couple counseling is different because they look at both sides. But let's do that. So if you decide you don't want to be in a relationship, you can say to yourself and to your partner, I went to couples counseling and we didn't. The counselor said this relationship isn't working. They're trained to do that. I try and keep in my head all the different ways that people can get help.
Exactly.
About whatever they have going on with them, and other than reading and going on, all the different media that we can do. But always say to yourself, is this advice I'm getting helping me, or is it putting money in somebody else's pocket? I think that's really a big one, because there's a lot of people right now that are saying for $150 I can solve all your problems. Well, that's not true, because you have to solve your problems. But if they're saying instead, I am going to teach you how to solve your problems, it's a lot better than having somebody else say, I'm going to do it for you. And it's the same with psychics. A psychic's going to help you solve your problems and look into what the result will be if the problems get solved.
Absolutely. I am sending people to veterinarians constantly because I can tell you what your pet has symptoms of or feels like. And yes, I used to work in a vet clinic, but I'm going to emphasize over and over, see a professional who's spent their life getting a degree in medicine or whatever, because it's time. And I always get that question, is it time to go to the vet? Is it time to put my animal down? And there's choices. You and I know it's a plethora of choices. I'm not making any choice. I'm going to give you what is out there. But when you need a specialist, you need a specialist. And I'm going to say, you need to see a vet, and and if you don't agree, see a second one. And get input, because all vets are not the same. All trainers are not the same. Right. And you'll find the right psychic for you, because they're not all the same. Our gifts are not the same. We're totally different people. We've been raised different. We've been experienced different. And I talk to people that have died all the time. But Dottie has a whole different gift in that, and an amazing experience with that. And I've learned so much about my own gift by listening to her experiences. And that's what you need to surround yourself with.
The whole thing of death and dying, as I said, Ma always says to me, oh, I'll be so glad when you join me. You're such a great student around. It changes your attitude when you know you're going to be welcome to the next house you go to.
Exactly. It takes away the fear. It takes away the scare. And I tell my family, yeah, I'll miss you day to day, but don't worry, I'll move pennies. My daughter always said, I'm going to put pennies everywhere and move them. And I was like, great, I'll steal that idea. I'll move the pennies on the counter everywhere. That'd be great.
I'm going to jump in here because we're running out of time, but I do have a question for Reverend Dottie. And my question is this. So the area of expertise that I have as a mentor is to help people learn how to listen better. And so what I find is that people come to me for coaching. I'm also a coach, because they have problems. And I realized very quickly that These problems are a result of the fact that they don't know how to listen, but they don't think that's their problem. They think that something else is their problem. So I'm wondering if you have any message about how to get people to, if people don't understand what the foundational problem is.
Okay, but what you have to do is when you're talking to somebody like this, and they it seems like they never stop talking. And
Right.
You say, I have heard so much about you, and I thank you for sharing. Do you have any idea who I am? And they go, no. Don't you think if you're going to a coach or a psychic or something, you should have a little bit of information or even a little bit of interest about how the person that you're talking to, how they look at life? Well, yeah, I guess I said, how do you know that I'm not a devout socialist ready to change you by my way of thinking? Oh, well, you'd never do that. How do you know I'd never do that? Oh, I just feel it. Be better if you found out a little bit more about who I am and learn how to listen when people are talking. Because anytime I talk, I give you all sorts of hints of what I think, who I am, and where I'm going in life. And you haven't heard a single one of them. That's where your problem lies, in you going through life. Start being interested in listening to other people's stories.
There it is.
Can we just record that last?
There's the commercial.
Dottie, that was that you just
that was
perfect.
Excellent.
That was perfect. And we need to just take that one clip and put it all over social media and say, could you listen, read through the lines before you jump on somebody's post and say, that was terrible. You didn't read it, did you?
Exactly. Exactly, AMINAH. Very good.
Well, plus, in addition to that, whether it's reading or listening, why are people entitled to make judgments? Why can't we just let people?
I think one service where I said, okay, I'm talking about, have you ever won an argument on politics or religion? Everybody who has one of those, please raise their hand. And not a single person raised their hand. And I said, then why are you arguing? If you've never won, I would stop playing the game somewhere if I never won. And they all kind of looked like, oh, this is a game. Well, it becomes combative, the competition, just like a game. And you're not going to win because nobody wins in those arguments. So when people don't listen, it's the same thing. When they say, I want to know all about you because, when I was your age, and off they go. And they never stop. They started out on the right path of, I'd like to know a little bit about you. And it's the same with religion, and it's the same with politics. I want to know what you think. I want to know why you vote the way you do and why you believe the way you do. And you start talking to me, I'm going to listen. And the next time I see you, it's kind of like you've got a little banner across your forehead that says, and I realize it, and then I'll start saying, this is how you thought, and this is what you believed last time I talked to you. Has that changed? I have a fellow who has said, no, I'm not going to wear a mask. And he said, because when I wear a mask, I can't breathe and I need oxygen. And I said, okay, so that's what I have when I see him. So I said, how's it working for you? And he said, oh, I talked to my doctor and I've got another little apparatus where it works fine when I'm wearing a mask and I can breathe. And now I'm doing better. So then that little notice changed. Mm-hmm. And it's not that I label people forever. I check in. Are you still doing the same thing you were doing before? But I do it not quite that crudely. I say something like, wait, well, how's it working not having to wear a mask? And then they, whatever it is that they are feeling really strongly about, I just kind of check in to make sure that's where they are. So I don't step on their toes. I don't want to make people wrong, but I want to allow them to grow.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they grow faster with that attitude, Dottie, because we don't have an agenda of you get there or don't. Doesn't affect your life. And I'm not sure why people own other people's stuff so much of the time. Angry, mad, sad, happy, glad, depressed, whatever, politics. Oh my gosh, they have to change. Why? Are you going in there doing your ballot? No, then it's not your thing. best thing ever. And wow, I'm so excited about posting this out because I want people to hear what you said and what we talked about being genuinely you and being genuinely in your own life.
But being genuinely connected to other people.
Exactly.
You know, I hear all the time, well, who do you talk to about these things? I don't have anybody. Well, find somebody. Go to a writing group. They're great. You find out what they think. There are so many groups you can go to and find out what people are on the same wavelength you are.
Right.
You know,
Yes,
if it's a class, there's classes, there's podcasts, there's so many ways you can find out who is on the same wavelength I am, as long as they're not out there saying we're going to burn down the whatever building or something like that. You know, I want to be part of the group that feels the same way I do. And then you can learn more about them and more about what the philosophy is that they're following.
That's a great way to close out the show, Reverend Dottie. Thank you so much. And instead of judging, we can take that time to clean up our planet, to do something for the environment, to help lift each other up. So, Reverend Dottie,
here's this: does something today. Get a washer for the faucet that leaks in your sink. Do something easy that you say, I'm part of the solution.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
That's all it takes. Each day we do one thing that is outside of ourselves that helps the world. Right. Just one thing.
Reverend Dottie, we are running your banner, but if you could let people know the best way to reach you and who you would like to contact you.
Anybody can contact me. I love to talk to people, and I'm still at the 408-220-5780. I'm moving my office. I have to close my office down because of rent increases here in the Bay Area. But I am still doing private sessions, and I'm still preaching. I'm going to be moving over to the DeFrank Center here in San Jose and start talking there. And on the 24th of October. I'm moving. You know, after 20 years or so, it's time to move on to something different.
And it's Safe Dottie, SAFEDOTI at AOL.com for those
That's
of you.
Because I'm an old broad. It's AOL.com.
And I want to let our audience know that something kind of exciting is now with StreamYard, we are able to run broadcasts as replays. So we will be running this over and over again. So that's very exciting. And if you didn't get to watch it right now on the live, you can go over to USA Global TV, to our YouTube channel, and you can watch it right now. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate you being here, Reverend Dottie.
Thank you for asking me. Bye now.
Thank you. Bye. All right, Amina, quickly, as we have another show coming up in 8 minutes, what is the best way for people to reach you? And who should contact you?
Worlds.
Bridging Worlds.
US is the easiest way. Everything you want to know is there. And everything about me and my background. I am a trainer. I worked in the vet clinic, and I have a God-given gift to hear your pets. So let me help you, adoptions and or behavior issues, medical issues, let me know. So I'd love to help you with your next baby.
Thank you, Amina. And I'm always thinking, Bridging Worlds US, Bridging Worlds US.
Yeah, I try to make it easy because it's literal. And join me on Facebook. I'm horribly sarcastic, but I also do education, but a lot of fun stuff that are animals. And Bridging Worlds Facebook page is also a place you can come and join us. Love to have you. And thank you, Dr. JACALYN, for the platform and these amazing people that we get to hear from. I always learn from Dottie. It's just, I don't have 80 years to keep with her, but we're going to try.
Well, it's always a pleasure sharing this space with you and also with Reverend Dottie, and hello to Corky, and thank you for all of her assistance as well. And I wish you a beautiful weekend.
Absolutely. You too. Be safe out there in that camper land.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, everyone. We are thrilled to have you here this week. As always, we've got one more show coming up today. And what I want to share with you is, as we come into the holiday season, so many different holidays from around the world, we have new special events. We have a cooking show coming up with a chef from Scotland and a chef from Texas. And we are calling the show The United Kitchens. We have a show with the King of Etiquette, and I'll keep those details under wraps until we get everything finalized. We have a holiday traditions show coming up where people come from around the world and share some of the traditions they have in their culture, in their homes. So we're keeping it fresh, we're keeping it real until our big launch of USA Global TV, January 10th, 2022. And you might say to yourself, but you're already on USA Global TV. What's new? You'll see. Wait till you find out. We've got fashion channel, we've got a shopping channel, we've got a music, TV, and film channel. It's all so exciting. So thanks for being a part of this ride. Thank you for making it happen by watching, engaging, and spreading the word. Thank you, AMINAH. Thank you, Reverend DOTI. It was great seeing you. We'll be back in 5 minutes.